Raj, I've always tell you that how much I really wanted a property myself. I guess I figured it out. There's only two ways I can get a house. One is to ask from my parents. The other one is to get a rich man, get married, and own a property. What do you think?
I think you're going to be houseless for quite a long time.
So when we talk about properties, when we talk about housing, and now we have Sam Tan, which is a Group Managing Director from KEN Holdings Berhad, joining us this morning. Good morning, Sam.
Hi.
Morning.
Can't wait to ask for the media discount.
Oh, no problem.
Under one of the KEN Holdings.
No problem. Always welcome.
So Sam, why don't you share with us about your personal background?
Okay. Well, I was trained as a civil engineer. I read civil engineering at University College London. Then I worked in Arab, which is one of the top engineering consultancies in the world. They did all the top buildings, structures. They did Millennium Bridge, which was the wobbly bridge. Marina Bay Sands is done by them. All the top iconic towers you see around the world is pretty much done by them. And it's a great experience. And during that time as well, I read law.
Wow.
So it helps with the business when when we come back to ensure that we want to do the expansion.
Very interesting because engineering is a very technical field,
Yes.
and then law is something which is almost on the opposite side. You know,
That's
in the
right.
amount of theory which you have to
That's right.
soak it up.
So it's good to be able to combine the best of both worlds. So I thought that it can never hurt you. So it will always help you. Why not equip yourself with more as you go forward?
Right. How long were you in the UK?
Wow, 8 years in total. I spent
Right.
8 years there. Yeah, it's good. I like my time there, but I still prefer living back home here in Malaysia.
Right. Now, after 8 years, obviously you have, have already built a base there, you know, become quite comfortable, assimilated in. What made you decide to come back to Malaysia?
I think many factors. I believe that home is always home. Food plays an important role. I think, as
Definitely.
Malaysians, we're
Yeah,
big
yeah,
foodies.
Yeah.
We can have everything that we want here. Weather again. England's nice. I lived in London most of the time, and the weather is not the best, I would say.
When it comes to winter and then it starts raining.
That's
it's
right. Yeah,
really-
you get into office, it's dark. When you leave, it's dark. You know, so you're in almost depression for,
depression.
for the entire winter period, and not something I really like. But I think back home offers so much more. Even though we have our own issues like lack of public transport in comparison to cities like London, but I think we get things that you don't have there, like mamaks. You know, we can go around at any time of the day.
24 hours,
hours.
7 days a week, yes.
For anything that you want. There you can't. You pretty much can't. You got to plan your time, so you got to plan your hunger times. And after that, you're bound indoors.
You can have your own teh tarik to do it with the English breakfast tea
Oh
yourself
yeah,
at
that's
home.
right. Yeah. If you get adept enough with that.
Right. Now, with regards to Ken, how long have you been with them?
I've been with KEN Holdings for 9 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's quite a while.
Quite a while. Now, we have seen over the years, especially the last 5 years, one of the biggest issues in Malaysia right now is affordable housing. You know,
That's right.
prices of properties, especially in key areas such as the Klang Valley, Penang, Johor, has shot up tremendously, making it unaffordable to the masses out there. What's your thoughts with regards to this development, which you have seen over the last 5 years?
I think the trend is this: new houses tend to cost a lot more. But there's always a reason behind it. What we've always published, especially in REDA, our Real Estate Housing Developers Association, is that a lot of secondary transactions, meaning actual homes which are built already, are still at lower prices. So you still can get ready-built houses at lower prices. But what's the difference? They may be in old neighborhoods, old tamans, where you don't have the gated and guarded security compounds. You don't have all the facilities that the new developments allow you to have. So when you go to new developments, things are planned in a different way. Things have changed, of course. You know, when I was young, I used to be able to play in the back lanes. I can play badminton across the gate with my neighbors. But nowadays, I don't think any parents would want to allow their kids to do that. That's the problem that we have, unfortunately. But to this, a lot of developers respond by creating gated and guarded environments. When you have this, and that's what everyone's looking for, you can buy a normal home, which is far cheaper. But if you want the convenience of that security, the facilities that they may have attributed to the properties, then you have to pay a different price, because then you are now sharing something which is different.
Right.
Location may be different, and then the land cost bought at this current time, it's much higher than what was bought
Exactly.
previously. Taman Tun houses used to cost 70,000-80,000 ringgit.
Exactly.
Those days, now it's like
Exactly.
$1 million.
For a terrace house, yeah.
Exactly. It's
Definitely.
amazing.
And it's a great location because you have accessibility to everywhere. It's great big wide roads. You don't
Right.
see that in developments nowadays. That's unfortunate, yeah.
Well, like I've mentioned, I've always looked for property all around. I come across this issue whereby I look into the already built houses,
Yep.
secondhand. I would call the valuer to value the property, but it seems like with the prices that the valuer gave me, it's different from the selling price. What do you think about that?
I think valuers tend to be a bit more conservative. You see, the thing is this, whenever any landowner wants to sell their land, they will ask you for tomorrow's price. They won't give you yesterday's price. People always want to buy yesterday's price, so you have this gap. How do you bridge this gap?
Right.
Because this guy is thinking, okay, if I sell the land to you, you develop it, you'll make so much money.
Right.
Good case is in SS2.
I live in SS2, so
Okay,
please,
good.
I'm all ears now.
When we developed KEN Damansara, we had
Right.
KEN Damansara 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
KEN Damansara 1, I think, was launched in 2000. It was sub 200 ringgit per square foot. KEN Damansara 2 was around that price. We put it a bit higher. KEN Damansara 3, we gave a really great deal to everyone. We were pricing it at about $172 per square foot.
Even cheaper, is it?
Even cheaper, yeah. Today, it's close to 600 per square foot.
In a period of how many years?
KEN Damansara 3 was the first property I launched when I joined KEN Holdings. It was in
Right.
2005, so we're talking about 8 years.
Wow, not bad.
Yeah, so
Triple.
it's tripled. Yeah, and KEN Damansara 2 I think goes up to almost 800 per square feet now. So it's quadrupled.
Right. Now, aside to land cost, of course, the other major factor which caused the higher prices could be cost of raw material, right?
That's right. It's another factor that brings it in. Cost of labor, cost of raw materials, all these things go up. But I think a big factor is the asking price of land, because land takes up maybe about 15 to 20% of your entire development cost. So it's actually a huge factor. And apart from that, there are a lot of huge compliance costs now. For example, you then need to ensure that you have all the proper infrastructure. You need to prepare a lot more than what was previously needed. So all this adds into the cost of homes.
Right, right. Now, on the flip side of things, we all know that there's been a lot of reports in recent months and weeks, in fact, with regards to household debt. Like last week, Bank Nara has announced 83% of household debt is 83% of GDP is household debt, which is one of the highest in the world. And then they're trying to rein in with regards to loans, excessive loans giving out. And I think the most recent one, the tenure of properties has been shortened from 45 years to a maximum of 35 years.
That's right.
Then
Loan
last year,
tenures.
real property gains tax has been increased from 5 to 10% to 10 to 15%. So, and even buying a third property, margin of financing maximum is 70%
that's right.
from banks. So now all these, how to say, restrictions, you as a property developer, I'm sure you would feel the effects, the negative effects on that. Now, how would you handle such restrictions?
Well, I think, you see, property buyers in Malaysia have had it very easy. So it was very easy getting financing. It was very easy buying a new house at a time.
Yep.
There's pros and cons to it. Of course, the pros is that it pushes up the economy.
Yep.
It gets things moving. Homes are bought. People can then afford homes. The trick is making it affordable. I think. And affordability also ties up with financing. So how do you ensure that you get good financing? Because you see, in a person's career, they will tend to earn more money as they go along.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You presume that they will get better at their job, they get promotions, they get salary increments, and that's where the bank will then assess and say, okay, this is what I'm going to loan you.
Right.
So we know that over time you'll be able to repay us. Now, property is also an investment tool. So apart from going into equity, stocks, gold, commodities, a lot of people come into property.
Yep.
A lot of people make money from other businesses, they bring it into property because people want tangible assets.
Try and test it over the
Exactly.
over the years
Yeah.
already. That's
No matter
the
where
safe-
you make
safe
money,
option, yeah.
people will always come back to property.
Yeah.
Now, that puts a huge demand on good properties. Again, like I say, there are properties out there. probably in differing locations which are more affordable and cheaper.
Yeah.
The problem is everyone still wants to stay in the best
In
places.
town, yeah.
So when you have demand for the best places, the demand will then shoot
Right.
up and the price will shoot up. So you see a huge disparity.
That's right.
There's a gap. I wouldn't say that across the board in entire Malaysia, property prices are high.
Right.
It's not really true. You can see the actual prices in the further out areas.
Right.
They're still cheap. They're still affordable. Just that people say, I don't want to live
I
there.
guess the key tenet, as they always say when it comes to property, it's location, location.
Ah, absolutely. Plays an important role because you cannot grow more land.
That's right.
You know, it's
It's
limited
finite,
there.
yeah.
That's right. So that will have an effect. And yes, I think developers will feel an effect because you will see that there are buyers. People actually want to buy the properties, but they don't get their loans approved. And that's the problem.
It's like as much as I save money and say, okay, when the time that I save enough, I think I can put on a deposit. And then it's another story when it comes to, property price has increased. Never mind, I'll save again. It's never a catch-up time with the right time.
That's right. Absolutely. It will keep increasing. And if you do not get in early, it's very tough to catch up. Now, on the other side of it, what that actually means is you force people to the rental market.
That's right.
Rental market in Malaysia has always been low. The yields have been not very high, but it's still a little bit higher than what we compare in the surrounding regions.
Sure.
And when that happens, you get people in the rental market. Then that pushes the demand for rents to become higher. What that does is to increase the returns on an investment property. And that makes property even more attractive.
Right.
So you will keep seeing that cycle going on and on.
Right.
In the UK, for example, a lot of people rent. They cannot afford to buy
That's
a home.
right.
Yep.
Getting into the home housing market is very, very tough. So I think it's a cycle that a country, when they're developing, needs to go through. So I think that's something that we're going through. We've put a lot of people in the property market. A lot of people would want to own homes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if everyone, every single person here owns a home, who are the ones who are going to rent?
That's true.
So there still needs to be a balance. Of course, then it comes down to the income. It comes down to your repayments per month, your different commitments, because you may have different car commitments,
Well said.
study
Yes.
loans, etc.
Children.
So yeah, it's very different for every single person.
Right. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break right now. Now we have heard a little insights with regards to the property market in Malaysia, the constraints, the difficulties one face. When we come back after the break, we're going to talk with regards to the latest projects offered by KEN Holdings. So please stick around with us on Morning Bell.
KEN Bangsa is a multiple award-winning project and an outstanding example of the adaptive reuse of an existing building. The building was transformed from an office development into a luxury residential high-rise, which now stands as a remarkable testament to the sustainability of environmentally sound practices in construction. Thanks to the myriad of green technology-driven measures undertaken by KEN Holdings Berhad, KEN Bangsa is today recognized as the most environmentally friendly residential project in Malaysia. More than 70% of the building structure was recycled and reused, resulting in a tremendous reduction of construction waste. Laminated low E glass is used throughout the building to cut down heat and ultraviolet rays. Natural ventilated openings were designed into the lobby area to exploit the clean, plentiful breezes at the apex of the hill and to maximize air circulation. Energy-efficient multi-split inverter air conditionings are used in every apartment, with a penthouse enjoying the ultimate VRV systems. Energy-saving